Have you ever wondered why some can come up with amazing ideas while others can't? The ability to connect the dots and see the larger picture all rest in a certain skill, creative thinking. Creative thinking is our ability to look at ideas presented or scenarios and find new alternatives that solve the problem. Best of all, this skill isn't bound to the creative people like designers, musicians, or other artists. A lot of people can benefit from the thinking this way from time to time. They can also receive a number of benefits on top of a wide variety of ideas that can spark change. Defined by the Business Dictionary, creative thinking is a way of looking at problems or situations from a fresh perspective that suggests unorthodox solutions, which may seem unsettling at first. Creative thinking can be stimulated both by an unstructured process, such as brainstorming, and by a structured process, such as lateral thinking. Creativity is, therefore, our ability to form something new out of what's presented. It's our ability to think differently and provide new angles and perspectives to a solution. This can translate to a new solution that wasn't there, or even the realization that problem doesn't need a solution at all in that moment. Now, many people may not care so much about new solutions or angles, but that's the point. Our brains have a natural tendency to fall into certain shortcuts. Have you ever been in a situation where you hear or learn one piece of information and you use it all the time? I bet you have. Since we don't need to relearn how to use a knife or a fork, that way of thinking does have its perks in those situations, but has some drawbacks in other situations. This is especially true with problem solving. Creative thinking and creative thinkers are needed in those situations because it pushes out of that linear way of thinking. It encourages us to look at other perspectives and even open up to the idea of new solutions. Creative thinking is also important for other reasons. Thinking creatively provides immense freedom. When we create, we have the opportunity to engage with the world without judging ourselves. It's similar to what we felt when we were a child. Back then, we didn't care what people thought of us. We just simply did. Creative thinking provides self-awareness. We start to think with authenticity as we use our own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. This creates biases in our ideas, but we can learn to set those aside and deeply learn about ourselves, our ideas, and our creativity. We become more confident in our ideas. Maybe right now you don't present ideas, or your ideas get shut down. By tapping into the creative thinking, we can build our confidence in our ideas and start to contribute to the group and our work at large. Creative thinking isn't barred to those who learn in creative fashions. Anyone can pick up creative thinking skills and use them to enrich their lives and those around them. Perception and empathy, feeling surprised that this is one of the creative thinking skills, is something new to wrap your head around. Being perceptive and empathetic works hand in hand with creative thinking. Being able to read the mood of a meeting or discussion you're having with people can help immensely. This is key because there are times and places to share ideas. Specifically, you may find the best opportunities to share ideas when you're facing a major problem or issue and can't seem to find a way to proceed and solve it. Or during times of change, when the future is more obscure than usual and you're thinking of possibilities. Or maybe when there is a clear divide between what people think needs to happen. It's especially needed when no compromises can happen without considerable effort. Sometimes we need creativity when something new is needed altogether and hasn't been tried before. Empathy also helps with how an idea is presented. Maybe in your work group, people aren't allowed to be receptive or aren't always receptive to new ideas. However, there's that one person who always has a plan and people support. Empathy is letting that person take ownership of that idea and be the voice behind the idea. In these sorts of scenarios, you build up more than empathy. It also builds the belief that your idea will prevail in the hands of someone else. There's also analytical thinking. Analytical skills can help us understand many other situations outside of the social environment. Being able to read text or data and have a deeper understanding of what they mean will serve you in a variety of ways. I find that with creative thinking, the first step is being able to intake information and digest it in various ways. Being able to analyze information is often the first step in the creative thinking process. You'll also need open-mindedness. Once you've taken in the information, it's important that you have an open mind. This means you need to set aside your biases or assumptions and encourage yourself to look at a problem in a new way. Biases and assumptions are some of the mental barriers you'll face, but looking at the other barriers, they often stem from that sort of thinking. A strict "and this is how it should be" way of thinking is not always beneficial. Other examples of limitations are that you're thinking of a problem too logically, or that creative thinking is somehow breaking the rules. These are limiting because we know that to have an open mind is to succeed. Every successful entrepreneur in the world today had to break rules at some point in their lives. Consider Richard Branson, Elon Musk, whose work revolutionized or created entirely new industries, all because they didn't back down to how things were. You can do the same thing within your own group in some fashion. You have to be organized, though. The last thing people associate creative thinkers with is that they're organized. While we think of great minds have messy rooms or desks, that's not the case at all. Being organized plays a crucial role in creative thinking in that it allows you to better organize your ideas. And not only that, it also helps to present them as well. When we present ideas similar to a speech, there should be a structure, a vision, and we should have it easy to follow and understand. Furthermore, if your idea is given the green light, you'll need to form an action plan, set goals, and have specific deadlines. Being organized will keep you on your toes and prepared for most anything. You also need communication skills. Communication plays a vital role in all of this. You can't sell a group or an individual on an idea if you can't communicate it effectively. This applies to both written and verbal communication skills. This goes back to empathy a bit in that you need to understand the situation you're in. This also means you need to be a good listener, and being able to ask the right questions is important. You also need to be able to dissect ideas. The last skill I'll offer is a challenging one but can pay off in so many ways. Sometimes creative thinking means taking two ideas and merging them. This helps because in most situations, ideas in their base form might not be able to satisfy the original goal or problem. That, or maybe the idea is outright terrible, but there are some good pieces of information within. The ability to look at ideas and be able to break them down and dissect them and merge them with other ideas is a great skill to master. This could easily help solve disputes, find answers, and help to find middle ground in many situations. Some examples of creative thinking. The list of creative thinking examples is endless. In most situations, these examples will boost your creative thinking as well. So I encourage you to try a few of the following. Design anything from a logo to a simple web page layout, to a poster and more. Create a lesson plan for a group training course. Write in a journal, a blog, or any of the social platforms. Create a test or quiz from scratch just for the fun. Brainstorm project ideas at work, or decor or renovation ideas at home. Find procedures to improve the quality of a product or service, suggesting solutions to improve such products or services. The bottom line is this: the number of examples of creative thinking are endless, but they are all challenging, and this is a good thing as the world continues to change and grow. This pushes us to learn new skills, to think differently, and to start asking the more important question of why and why not. These are skills and abilities that can change the world and that anyone can adopt. So as long as you have the patience to learn and develop yourself, you too can be a creative thinker. Take care, stay creative, and see you next time.